Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple.
Winning quality in every bite.
We welcome you live to Huset Speedway. We're located just outside of turn number 4, where tonight somebody will claim a $100,000 top prize. Welcome to Huset's Raceday Live. We are on the Sage Fruit stage. Shawn Neisteadt alongside Johnny Gibson as we get set to go for a six-figure payday here tonight.
Yeah, one of Sprint Car Racing's premier events takes place here at the Huset Speedway this evening, and a fantastic field of drivers assembled to battle for that six-figure payday, and one of the drivers who would have to be considered a favorite joins us now on the Sage Fruit stage.
Buddy Kofoid, everybody, driver of the Roth Motorsports car number 83. Qualifying night in the books. You sit number 6 in event points. Should put you on the outside of a front row in a heat race tonight. How are you feeling today?
I feel good. No, this is one of my favorite tracks, and I feel like for whatever reason, ever since I first came here, it just clicked for me. So I feel like we haven't honestly qualified that good, but we can, I feel like, race extremely well. And you know, I've said it the last couple of nights, our car, I feel like, doesn't know what dirty air is when it comes here. And I feel like a place like this, even being this small, is huge. So we can pass cars and we can race good. And but now it's nice to be on the front of a heat race, to be in the best chance possible to, you know, make the redraw.
Last night, you were charging forward from deep in the field. At what point in that feature did you go, yeah, we've got something here?
Honestly, probably when I warmed up to the pace truck. No, I just feel like almost 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10, our car just, the balance is always extremely good in race trim. You know, we qualified really well here last year, and I feel like that's where we just probably lacked a little bit this year. But I feel like as far as our race pace and the balance, I feel like we haven't really had to change it much. You know, and even our balance is being the same, even with a different type of car than what I ran here last year. You know, I feel like that just shows how good Dylan, Nate, and Gage are at what they're doing, and to get me comfortable. And you know, Dylan's had success here, you know, with other people before me, and I feel like I've been good here before him, and I feel like now that we've come together, it's just been even better.
How does the mindset change, if it does at all, when you're racing for a six-figure payday?
You know, I try not to psych myself out, because at the end of the day, it's still a race, and you still have the same job to do, and same goal to win, obviously, but you know, the reward is a lot more satisfying. So you know, but coming to a place like this, I feel like I'm a little bit more relaxed and confident, just because I know I've been good here before, and I'm always really comfortable here, and I feel like I kind of know what to expect because, you know, of our previous races here this year, and also getting to race 4 times here last year with Dylan and Roth. So you kind of, I feel like that kind of, you know, works in your favor if you have that comfort level and that past, you know, experiences where you can build something to where, you know, if you do this, it's going to do this. If you do that, you're going to expect this feeling. And I feel like we've kind of hit on that, and you know, if we need something, we know we need to do this, or sometimes we don't really need to change that much.
This week is a very different format for you guys, running last night, qualifying for tonight, accumulating points. There was the invert in the heat races, a revenge redraw for the drivers that were in the top 8. Your thoughts on events like this where it's changed up a little bit for you drivers from outside of the normal routine with the Outlaws?
I like it. You know, when I did a few years in midgets, you know, we saw different types of formats, and you know, the Chili Bowl, for example, is a very unique format, and then, you know, we do some special races where the format's different, and some series are based off of point system formats. So I've kind of seen quite a bit of that, and I feel like getting to see that's kind of, it's not unfamiliar, and I feel like in racing, if something's familiar, usually it works in your favor. And You don't have to stress over something different. So, but ironically, like I said, you got to qualify good, and we haven't qualified good. But I feel like we just race exceptionally well, and that's, like I said, that's just a credit to Dylan, just getting me comfortable. I know that if I do this, it's gonna work.
Going back to something you mentioned earlier, you said that for some reason it just kind of clicked the first time you ever came to Huset Speedway. What do you attribute that to?
Honestly, I have no idea. I was thinking about it earlier. Like, I feel like everyone's kind of got, one or a few tracks that just works for them. And for whatever reason, this is one of the tracks that I've just come here and just kind of fell in love with and just kind of had success right off the bat. And getting my first Outlaw win here was extremely special, and I feel like that kind of plays a little bit into it, but also I've been really good with the midgets here too, so I feel like just comfortable and just kind of can find something and can search for things and make different things work. I feel like that you need to do. I feel like you can't rely on just doing one thing here because of how tight it is and how much I feel like you have to be able to move around. And I think I've just figured out how to maneuver in a way without scrubbing off speed.
You had the laps here in the midget. You had success in the midgets, 2 wins here. But there's such different disciplines from winged 410 sprint cars. Was there anything that when you started to run the winged car here that you carried over, or maybe it was just simply confidence in knowing the racetrack?
I think both. Just confidence. Driving for great cars, obviously gives you a lot of confidence, and working with people that know what they're doing. But I think, I ran sprint cars for I don't know how many years now and run midgets for a few years. So you kind of at least have, you're not in an unfamiliar car. So at the end of the day, it's just another track that I knew I needed to be good at and figure out. And, I always felt like, to me, I ran quite a bit of different cars. And I feel like midgets and sprint cars, they've always correlated the most to me as far as, transferring over. I feel like sprint cars, I've always heard helped you become a better midget racer when you're trying something new like that. And then I feel like when I'd get in the midget for a while, and then when I get back in the sprint car, I always felt like the midget kept me sharp because you have a different aggression, I'll say, in the midgets. And but I always figured out how to drive as straight as possible. Just coming from wing cars, that's all I really knew how to do was drive straight. So I tried to adapt that into midgets the best I could, and I feel like that just kept them more similar to me, and that was the easiest for me from transitioning back and forth. Could be every week or every day, or could be 2 months that I wouldn't run one but run the other, and I always felt like that helped me.
You're still one of the young guns in sprint car racing, but you've been on the national scene for quite a while now because you were one of the youngest ever to pilot a sprint car when you first began. When you were that young and getting a lot of national attention, did the pressure start to build up a little bit for you as far as being anointed one of the next great drivers?
Honestly, not really. And I think the only reason is because I've been asked this a few times actually. I think it's honestly just because I put so much pressure on myself that everything else I feel like gets blocked out, just because I know what's at stake and I know what I have to do. So if anything, I'm more in my own head just because I put that upon myself. But like, honestly, I always feel like I've thrived off of that, and I feel like that's what's personally helped me do what I need to do, or focus on whatever task is at hand, or just at the end of the day, whatever I need to do to go to work.
Dennis and Teresa Roth, icons of the sport. Was it helpful when you went full-time winged racing on tour with the Outlaws to have that team so established to come out and find that early success?
Yeah, absolutely. I think last year was my first at this role in June. That was my first week with Roth and with Dylan on a national level. I did one weekend for them in May, but I kind of count the High Bank Nationals in June of last year as our first, hoorah, if you will, and at least with Dylan especially. So I feel like having those 6 or so months of racing, I think that in itself helped us for this year to go on the road. more time to work with Dylan and more time to work with a new team and new crew guys, and especially a new engine program new to me. So I think to have just that 6 months in itself, I think was crucial. But to race for a team like Roth Motorsports is extremely special to me, and I feel like someone like me who appreciates the history, that's more special to me, and especially just because they're from California.
You mentioned the engine that was kind of new to you, and it's developing the Toyota engine package like we've seen with the Fords, with Tony Stewart Racing. Something new coming into the sport, and it's difficult to get established, difficult to get the program to where it needs to be. It takes a lot of R&D. As a driver, how much input do you have in what goes into the engine packages?
I'd say a decent amount, but I also, when I came to Roth, the Toyotas had been out for a couple years already, but I feel like in the year, or a little over a year that I've been a part of it now, I feel like it's already changed a lot as far as drivability, reliability, and the different packages that we run, which is as far as maybe whether it's a Speedway or a rider, or we have this injection or that injection. I feel like it's changed a lot, and actually the motor that we lost last year is the same motor that's in it now.
Interesting. Let's go back just a little bit. June 23rd of 2022, your first Outlaws win here. Your first Outlaws win, period, and it was here. What do you remember about that feature?
I think I started second. It was pretty heavy, but it slicked off pretty quick, and got to the lead early, and I think James actually passed me, and then it kind of got me back up on the wheel and got him back, and then kind of found the rubber last 5 laps and was able to just kind of get in line and cruise and just try and put as many lap cars as I could between me and him, and cruise to the victory. But it's funny, I was talking about this earlier to someone, and like what it means to win an outlaw race. And when I thoroughly remember when I crossed the checkered, I felt chills all the way up my arms, into my shoulders, and to me that's what winning with the Outlaws, that's why it's so special, because it's the best guys in the world, and for that to happen to me was like a surreal moment, knowing what I just done. But also, to me, that just shows how special the Outlaws is, and now to be an Outlaw is a dream come true.
As you get set to go tonight, we want to wish you the very best. You're going to have a good starting spot in your heat race. We'll see if you can get into that King of the Hill and where you go from there. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I appreciate it, and hopefully be celebrating with $100,000 later.
All right, there he is. Buddy Kofoid, one of the potential favorites for tonight's Huset's High Bank Nationals finale, paying $100,000 to win. Johnny, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to the Jonestown Jet, Brock Zearfoss.
You wanted the best, you got 'em for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Race fans, the World of Outlaws are powering into the Stockton Dirt Track for one night only. Friday, September 6th, see the greatest show on dirt superstars battle California's heroes. High speeds, huge horsepower, and wheel-to-wheel action. Tickets at worldofoutlaws.com or 844-DIRT-TICKS. Buy in advance and save. The World of Outlaws, Friday, September 6th, the Stockton Dirt Track. Be there.
Welcome to our world. A world of dirt, drift, and dodging fate. A world where all of motorsport collides. A world of digging deep, of grit, glory, and bitter defeat. Inhabited by the strong, the fearless, the barely sane. Welcome to our world. Welcome to the world of NOS.
This is my 2017 Ford Edge with 123,000 miles. Recently, it became sluggish with a slight drop in gas mileage. It was recommended I add Seafoam motor treatment in the gas every few weeks. After a few months, there was a noticeable improvement in the power, and it's more responsive when I give it gas. Happy customer here.
To find out more about Seafoam products and how they can help your engine run better and last longer, go to seafoamworks.com.
Everybody's hooking up, getting down, tearing up their little town, loading up the cooler and heading south beach bound, working on their tan, koozie on a beer can, party every night, throwing up their hands. Ain't no crying in your beer. Ain't no she walked out the door. Ain't nobody broken hearted in country music anymore.
Hey Tony, now that you're driving in straight lines, you should try one of these. It will help you turn left again.
Well, Donnie, you should try one of these. Just like the lights, when it turns green, mash the gas. You might win another championship. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
We are back on the Sage Fruit stage for Race Day Live on Marilyn Roy's Paving Night, the finale of the BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards. And Brock Zearfoss joins us now. He'll be one of the drivers doing battle for that $100,000 top prize here this evening. And Brock, welcome back to Huset Speedway.
Yeah, it's always great to get back here and you know, run for good money. Todd Quiring and his gang have really stepped up here to help sprint car racing, and the racetrack has been pretty racy all week, so it's something you can't ask for much more of, and I think the racetrack will be good tonight, and you know, like this format here is you really got to race, so it's gonna be exciting.
Every lap was important last night. Every position was important. You come out of that 16th in the event points. Looks like you'll start in row 2 of a heat race here tonight. How do you feel about that as you prepare for tonight's action?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, we time trialed good and we ran where we needed to be in our heat race and put ourselves in a good position. We just we got a little too tight there in the feature and struggled a little bit. But you know, we're keep working on our car and trying to figure stuff out. And our balance is pretty good. Just we're off just that little tick. So we're just we keep searching, trying a couple different things. But we're still in a good position here. And I think they take 5 out of the heat race. So we're in a good position. Hopefully get 1 or 2 off the start and ride there and get ourselves in position for the big money. So we keep working at it.
2024 for you with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series has been, to put it kindly, a struggle at times, and a lot of it is stuff that's not of your own making. You've been a victim multiple times here in crashes, and how difficult is it to keep the spirits up and keep fighting toward that end of the season, knowing that you've accomplished victories with this series before? You're good enough to get the car to victory lane, but just sometimes things out of your control.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, subpar year for us in my eyes. It's so hard to run up and down the road, and especially with a family team. And you know, it's just I have 2 guys that work on the car, and you know, I make the calls on the car, and it's very hard to focus on driving anymore and focus on what your car needs, especially being with the World of Outlaws. It's just it's become a sport where you have to focus 110% on driving, and either that or you need to focus 110% on what the car is doing. So it's a little bit of a disadvantage, but you know, we're doing what we can, obviously, and you know, things are looking good for next year, hopefully, and we'll make them steps to get ourselves in a better spot. So it's like I said, man, it's not for lack of trying, that's for sure. You know, Matt and Mike, they beat the pavement up with me up and down the road, and it's been tiring and frustrating a lot of nights. So you know, they're right there with us, and you know, I can't thank them guys enough for sticking behind us. And you know, our sponsors have really been supportive through this deal. So it's been a struggle. A lot of people don't understand what, you know, they think everybody just goes up and down the road and they all have crew chiefs and stuff like that. But it's really hard to find a really good, solid crew chief that can perform and make your car go, you know, to win here. So it's hard, but we're figuring it out.
you've been going to Australia and racing in the off-season the last couple of years, and your crew chief over there, Brenton Putty, came over and spent some time with you here in the States, so right around the Knoxville Nationals time. How nice was it for you to have somebody like that as part of the team and kind of to maybe point you in a little different direction?
Yeah, I mean, it was very important for him to come over. He spent a whole month, and it's nice to have somebody that you could work with, that you're familiar with, and he understands you. So it was really great to get Brenton over, and Shawn Karen, my car owner over there, sent him over. He sends him over every year for about a month, and it's important for both of us. He gets to kind of get back in the groove a little bit before everybody over there gets going, and it's just somebody that understands what I need, and it gives me a little break to focus on driving. So that month stretch there, we really got our car back to where we needed to be, and we almost put it in the Nationals, so it was good. I mean, it was definitely a morale booster for everybody, and obviously he's gone now, but we kind of have our car in that area. It's just back to doing it on our own, and having to focus on both things. So it's off just a little bit, but it's definitely nice to be able to focus on driving every once in a while.
You talk about it being difficult and tiring to be out there on the road. For the vast majority of us, we go to work Monday through Friday, and if we've got a tough day at the office, we get the weekend. We can rejuvenate, or people call in and they take a mental health day these days. You guys don't get to do that. You don't get to take a day off from the office. So how do you keep yourself going? How do you stay motivated to get to the next race and show up there and say, you know what, I know I'm good enough to get out there and go to victory lane? How do you do that?
You just have to take it day by day. I mean, obviously, there's only 24 hours in a day. So when the clock strikes midnight, it's the next day, and you just have to take it as, it's a fresh start. So it's, trust me, it's been very hard the past few years to do that every day. But, when you have good runs, or, things go your way, and you perform the way you can, those are the days you live for. So obviously we haven't won a race in a while, but those nights are very gratifying. But when you start running up front, and the people in the pits, they notice that you're getting better, that's what you work towards. So it's like I said, it's been difficult when you have bad nights to want to dwell on it, but you go to bed, you wake up the next day, and you're doing what you love to do. So it's never a day of work in my eyes, and try and keep it that way.
And you come into Huset, you can run well here. You finished 4th. Do you look back at past results when you're coming into a track like this and study maybe what you did that time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously when you have a good run, or you run good at a racetrack, you have a little bit of confidence coming into that race, and obviously your notebook is building there, and you kind of have something to go off of, and that's kind of what we've just been doing. And we've been building notes and just trying to get our car good. Like, our balance is really good in the beginning of the night. It's just towards the end of the night our balance gets off a little bit, and we're just trying to figure that part out. But it's so tough to make it to the part that counts when everybody steps their game up, and you got to step it up too, but you just you're off just that little bit. So it really it shows like it's a big deal, but we're off just a little bit. But the competition and the level that we're racing at, it makes it 10 times as much.
In this day and age of sprint car racing, with the technology that is available to the drivers and the teams, you mentioned that maybe being just a little bit off. Is it possible for a driver to carry a car these days that is just that little bit off?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously, since COVID, the quality of a lot of things has gone down. And I just think it's just the way the world is working. And, it's no fault to really anybody. It's just the way stuff's made anymore. And, I mean, you could have a car that could be off a little bit, and just some could be just tweaked just a little bit, or stressed, or whatever you want to call it. And or you just have parts that just aren't as strong as they used to be, and it's just the way the world is, man. It's it makes it that much more difficult for all of us. We all have to be on our game for everything, and it's just one other thing that you got to do. And like I go back to saying about just being able to drive. There's all the good guys like Carson, David, all them guys, they're always up looking at the racetrack, I'm back working on my car, so I'm trying to watch on Dirt Vision or whatever, and I get up maybe just to go peek at the racetrack, but I don't get to look at it as much as I want to, and got to go back and work on it because, we try to run an efficient show and get the fans out at a decent hour, but, it makes it harder when we don't have a little bit of downtime to think about things or go up and look and see what they're doing, and that's the part that makes it hard, but it's the way it is. That's what we do. We'll keep working at it, and hopefully one of these days we'll get somebody that can take that job off my hands.
Coming from Pennsylvania, a land of big racetracks, how difficult was it for you the first time you started traveling to adjust to bull rings like we have at Huset Speedway?
You think it'd be a little different, but honestly, I didn't really find much of a difference. Obviously, maybe a little bit. The biggest thing for me was to figure out how to run a big cushion because we don't have any of that at home in Pennsylvania. And Pennsylvania, you drive your car real straight, and you don't try to slip the wheels where you go like Chico or something, and you just elbows out and just throwing the car wherever you want, like Corey Day does or something. But it's definitely a different driving style. But racing with the World of Outlaws has taught me how to race all over the place. So. It's definitely been 4 years of learning, but 4 years of good learning and getting beat by the best.
I don't want to get beyond tonight because tonight is huge, but then you've got to go way out to the West Coast. So how does a team like yours prepare for a swing to get way away from the home base for that run before then coming back across the country?
Yeah, to be honest, since we left for Ironman, we haven't been home. So it's we use Knoxville. We stay at Tony and Katie Schilling's house in Knoxville, which they've really helped us out a lot through the year. We end up being there about 4 months out of the year, which really helps and kind of keeps a home away from home. But being home, it's I think it's about 8 weeks. I think we'll be away. So it's been 3 or 4 since we've been there to begin with, but we've been away for a while. But it weighs on you a little bit because you can't run home to get anything spare. So, when we left for Peebly, we were loaded as much as we could to make 8-week swings. So it's definitely a little nerve-wracking when you're running the short tracks. A lot of things can happen, but that's part of racing. You can't really think about it when you're there. So you just kind of go with the punches on that stuff. But we just do the best that we can with having as much stuff in the trailer as we can. And obviously you can only carry 3 cars and 5 engines, but you just kind of hopefully you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. But when it happens, you just kind of do what you got to do. And there's plenty of places out there that carry stuff, so a lot of people want to help you out, and that's what makes racing so great.
Brock Zearfoss, the driver of the Moose's LZ Bar and Grill number 3Z, one of the drivers to watch here on the final night of the BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards. It's Marilyn Roy paving night, and after this break, we'll come back and talk to the man on top of the World of Outlaws point standings.
If this is your idea of ladylike, you're gonna fit right in. Join us at Toyota Racing.
Who's it gonna be? Avedissian steals it here tonight.
Tony, do you even remember how to drive one of these?
It's not something you forget. You should know that. The drive to succeed, the need to win, the desire to be a champion. And we surround ourselves with partners that believe the same. Like Tony Stewart Racing, Sage Fruit strives to be the best in all they do. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide high-quality apples and pears all year long.
You can compare apples to apples, but nothing compares to a Sage Fruit apple. Winning quality in every bite.
Race fans, the World of Outlaws World Finals in November at the Dirt Track at Charlotte is a massive destination event. It's the biggest names in racing and 4 electric days of entertainment from November 6th through the 9th. When all dirt roads lead to Charlotte, you can be there up close with free pit passes if you purchase your grandstand tickets by Tuesday, September 3rd. Take advantage this weekend and get your tickets now at charlottemotorspeedway.com. Act today and get your free pit passes to the biggest dirt racing event of the year. Be there.
How'd I do?
Great if you're not looking at the clock.
Sure you got that? I had to be faster than that, right? 100% NOS, zero sugar coating. New NOS, zero sugar. Get after it.
This copyrighted Dirt Vision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
Back here live in Brandon, South Dakota, where it's Merlin Roy's championship night for the BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals, presented by Menards. Shawn, Neisteadt, Johnny Gibson, and David Gravel. Welcome up to the Sage Fruit stage.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Ready to go here tonight? You've passed a lot of cars already here this week.
Yeah, we just struggled qualifying this week really bad, and dug ourselves a hole each night, but you never give up, and you have 35 laps to make it happen. So we're in a manageable spot to still getting that King of the Hill, and that's why we're all here, is to have a shot at $100,000 to win. So hopefully we could get that done in the heat race, and I think we'll have just as good a shot as anybody.
We mentioned you're on top of the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series point standings, but a weekend like this, no series championship points on the line. It's all about that big money. What does that do to your mindset? How does that change the way you approach an event like this?
It takes a little bit of pressure off, but obviously how many races we race for 100,000 or more is pretty low. So this is our last one of the season for 100 grand. So definitely very important to try to go out, and obviously this is the Billion Automotive High Bank Nationals, and we're running the Billion Automotive car. So we definitely want to put that thing in victory lane again, and love to be two-time High Bank Nationals champions. So we're going to continue to work hard and put our best foot forward, and focus on this heat race and try to get her done.
You mentioned that heat race. Looks like you're probably going to start third, so second row inside. We know the top two finishers in the heat go into that King of the Hill. Is that the ultimate goal, and what are your thoughts on this format where even coming into tonight, you still have to go out and perform?
Yeah, you still have a shot. It's not over till it's over. I believe Sheldon started second or third row in his heat race when he won the first High Bank Nationals. So you always have an opportunity to redeem yourself, and like we talked here before, Buddy did that last night and really capitalized on that. So I feel like we capitalized to put ourselves in a decent spot and still have a realistic shot at this. So I believe it's Donnie and Garrett Williamson on the front row. So hopefully Donnie gets a good jump, and we could get around Garrett.
You mentioned running the BillionAuto.com car here this evening, and of course you drive for Big Game Motorsports and Huset Speedway, your primary sponsor. Is there additional pressure coming into an event like this at the car owner's racetrack, where you're performing in front of the boss and everybody associated with the team?
There's pressure every night, being at the Knoxville Nationals, the Kings Royals, it's all the same, right? There's pressure no matter what, and this is what we do for a living, and I've been doing it long enough where I feel like the pressure doesn't get to me. I feel like I'm pretty level-headed and monotone most of the time, but I feel like that's my job, and I have to be good at it, and most of the time I step up to the plate, and sometimes you don't, but you give it your best effort every time, and like I said, we're going to keep fighting here, and I think we still got a shot at it.
You mentioned the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals and talking about similar pressure tonight. Is this race at that level or on its way in its third only time running it? So really this event is still in its infancy, but you mentioned it right alongside those other races.
Yeah, just Mother Nature really screwed it up this year. So tough being this round 2 of the High Bank, and it was 250 and now it's 100. So I think for us, like with all the high limit guys, with the outlaw guys, and there was 60 plus cars, I think that was going to have the atmosphere, and I know the crowd was going to be here, and I think the crowd's going to be amazing here tonight, but I think it has just a little bit of different vibe here this go around, and it's nobody's fault but really Mother Nature. So I would say anything that's six-figure paydays, you definitely get a little bit extra butterflies for sure, but it's nice here when Kyle Larson's here and Brad Sweet and Corey Day, and you could beat those guys. It's just that much sweeter.
You're known as one of the top sprint car drivers in the world right now, but you hear about combinations, drivers and crew chiefs, and Cody Jakes was really come a long way as far as being at the top of his game as well, and the two of you seem to have really gelled together, especially over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah, Cody, he was a rookie World of Outlaw crew chief with me here our first year together at Big Game Motorsports, and he's grown so much as a person and a crew chief and just learning the schedule, right? I've been doing the Outlaw Tour for like 10 years in a row and kind of understand the schedule, and Cody wasn't able to do that, and now he has been for his 4th year in a row with me, and I think he's adapted well, and we know what engines we like at what race tracks, and just little things like gear ratios at every track. When he's never been there, it's some things you got to learn and fine tune, and I feel like it does take 2 or 3 years to really figure that out, and I feel like we've taken that next step this year. We've always won races and run second in the points, but I feel like right now we're the best car consistently, and lately the 41 car has been really fast, but I feel like throughout the course of the year we could always come back and recover no matter what happens.
Johnny mentions you leading the World of Outlaws standings. Is there pressure in that night in, night out? We know there's no points here, but how much pressure does that put on you leading those points? Because we know you want to be a World of Outlaws champion.
Yeah, not thinking about the points this weekend is nice for your mental health. But, you're thinking about the points no matter what. Going out to California, going out to a track that's reconfigured we've never been to, Tulare, a track that I really love going to. So you just never know what could happen. But for us, no matter what the situation is, we have to make the best and the most out of each night. If that's a 15th place finish, a win, a top 5, a 9th place finish, whatever that is, we just have to maximize every night, and I think everything else will take care of itself. So we just got to keep doing our jobs, stay focused, and just take it one weekend at a time.
What would it mean to you to be an Outlaws champion?
Yeah, definitely an ultimate goal for me. Knoxville Nationals and World of Outlaw champion is definitely the highest 2 on the list, and luckily I've been able to accomplish one of those. So hopefully we get that second one and get Todd's first, my first, Cody's first. So it'll be very, very special, and hopefully we can do it.
We talked to Scott Boguski yesterday here on the Sage Fruit stage, and he talked about racing and a team that's based 5 or 6 hours away and all the traveling they do each and every week to go racing. That's how your career started, because Connecticut's not really a sprint car hotbed.
Yeah, for sure. We did it not the normal way, that's for sure. And we traveled from Connecticut to Pennsylvania weekly, and then we ran the All-Stars. I was kind of still in school and trying to make that all happen. And yeah, I got a lot of miles on me. I'm 32 now, but I definitely got a lot of miles on me for my age, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. I've been traveling and racing in quarter midgets when I was 8, 9 years old. I went to Primm, Nevada, and Portland, Oregon, and Sacramento, California, racing quarter midgets. So it's something that I'm accustomed to, and luckily we were able to do that and just learn how to adapt as a race car driver, and I feel like it's really paid off. So it's been a fun ride, a cool ride. A fan had an 89G wing panel that I signed last night in the pits, and I've come here for a long time with the All-Stars. We always came with the Thunder through the plains and made the swing through here, and never won here with an All-Star race, but always loved coming here to the area, having fun at tailgaters and the surrounding places, and it's always just been a really cool place for me.
Any idea how that fan had that wing panel of yours from the family 89G? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, so he's a big fan. I know he has a lot of my stuff, but he found a collector, somebody that had it in Pennsylvania, and bought it from him. And I believe he said Jason Sides put it in his trailer and brought it out here or something like that. And he got it. So there's a couple big-time collectors, and a couple guys got some 89G wing panels, so it's pretty cool.
Reading racetracks is something that is essential to success on the World of Outlaws level. We've heard several of the drivers here this week talk about the fact that during the feature, Huset Speedway changes perhaps more quickly than any other track where the Outlaws go. Is that something that you found in your experience?
Yeah, it changes a lot. Being a short track, right, I just feel like it wears out a little bit faster than maybe a big track, but when they do the track work, there's a little bit of artificial grip early on, and kind of once that wears out, then a lane wears in on, kind of the bottom's a good place to be, the first 10, and then the top comes in, and then you know, if the top gets too high around and people start maybe banging off the wall, maybe the bottom comes back into play, or you got to sniff out if there's going to be any rubber or not, because I've seen a lot of local races, guys find it first, or they rely on that too much and the guy still runs the cushion. Like, there's 3 stages to the races, and then when this is going to be 40 laps, the longest race of the year, you know, that's just going to add another layer to it. So yeah, that's all good and great, because that just gives you as a driver another opportunity to gain positions and try to win the race.
You've had a couple chances here this season at Huset's to relax a little bit and watch your crew driver Zach get behind the wheel of an IMCA sprint car. How fun was that to kind of flip roles for a night or two?
Yeah, that was kind of just a dream night for our team to just have fun and go race. And that one night when Zach won, and we were all there, Steven, Cody, and I was the driver coach, Cody was the crew chief, and Steven was the tire guy that night. And, you know, to win from, I believe, 11th was really, really cool and very rewarding, and something that, you know, Zach truly would love to be a sprint car driver as a job, right? But he's put that to the wayside to learn, and I think it's really important for him as a career. I feel like he's a young guy and needs to learn the ropes and really learn how to build a race car, maintain a race car, and learn from the veteran guys. And he's been able to do that, and luckily he's been able to put that all together. And you know, he won a race in Oklahoma when we were off that 4th of July weekend, and he ran 5th here last weekend. So yeah, he's doing a good job. It's a perfect world for him. He's being able to work for a high class team and then race a little bit for fun. So I think he's having fun, and that was definitely a weekend we won't forget.
I want to go back to your evolution as a sprint car driver and now a contender for a World of Outlaws championship. One of the things that drivers throughout my time on the road have talked about, one of the biggest parts of the learning curve, is learning how to run up front in races and learning how to maybe switch lines and look for a better line even though you're leading. How long did that take for you to develop?
Yeah, I feel like I've been one to always search around and try to find a lane that maybe doesn't work for everybody but works for me, and I feel like Donnie's always done that in his career. But you know, it seems like it goes in stages. I ran 3rd in the points for how many years in a row? Now I've run 2nd in the points so many years in a row, and hopefully this is our time to take the top step of the podium. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's all stayed the same for me. It's limiting your bad nights, limiting your DNFs, and making the best of your bad nights.
Well, David, we want to wish you well here tonight as you defend your High Bank Nationals title and look for that 6-figure payday.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
A lot of support from the fans for the Big Game Motorsports car number 2. We'll come back and we'll wrap up tonight's show from the Sage Fruit stage and get you set for the championship night.
I think it's a very big deal that we have AMCUS, providing us with the AMCUS cutting tools throughout our series and World Racing Group. It's good that we were able to get a product in that's reliable and it does the job. If for some reason we had to cut a car apart or get access to a driver or a patient, we know that this tool here is definitely the one that we're going to work the best, get us in there quickly.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has won the Daytona 500.
You spend thousands of hours on the road.
Can he do it again?
Feel hundreds of horses under the hood. But every race, lap, and victory you get starts at 0. New NOS, 0 sugar. 0 sugar, 100% NOS, get after it.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
There are a number of outcomes that we want students to achieve after they complete a career technical education program. One of the first outcomes is to have employability skills. We start as early as the elementary division where students are exposed. We allow students in the middle division to explore, and we want students in the senior division to practice. The opportunity to practice those skills throughout the course of their high school career is critical.
You make me wanna slow, you make me wanna quit, you make me wanna drink till I'm
make me wanna slow. You make me wanna slow.
When my grandfather started Winters Performance in 1958, he had one goal: building the best, strongest speed parts possible for his fellow racers. Today, nearly 65 years later, our family's still delivering on that goal. Day after day, race after race. We're in this for the racers. We're in it for the competition. We're in it for the win.
We are mere hours away from awarding one driver a six-figure paycheck. That will be the champion of the BillionAuto.com Huset's High Bank Nationals presented by Menards. Tonight, the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series in their last six-figure payday of the season. And the man who's put it all together joins us now, the owner of Huset Speedway, Todd Quiring.
Thank you, Johnny.
Are you ready to go? Are you ready? We always talk to these drivers and ask them how they're doing and if they're ready to go. How about you?
Shawn, I see every week. You know I'm ready every week. So, yes, 100%.
We talk about the gorgeous weather we're having here tonight, and we were just talking about this during the break. I think Huset Speedway was owed one by Mother Nature after June. These skies are perfect. The temperature's perfect. Far cry from what you and the team had to go through here the first go-round.
Yeah, 100%, Shawn. I just mentioned to you guys, I don't think anyone in life is deserved anything, but I think we deserve a good weekend here this weekend. So.
We talked to Doug Johnson, the general manager here and at Jackson Motorplex yesterday on the show, and you as a business owner, a racetrack owner, a developer, just somebody who's got a little bit of everything going on, is it fair to say that as a big picture guy, part of the key to your success is knowing the right people to surround yourself with to help events and tracks and businesses grow?
Absolutely. Shawn knows this. He's here every week, and you hire the right guys and you let them do what they do. That's really what we do, and we have a lot of really good guys that run different categories, and Shawn can attest for this. I don't micromanage. I mean, every now and then I might have to say a few words, but just from the outside in. So,
and I don't think those of us who are always here, I can't keep up with you. I think I saw you a little bit ago. Were you mowing grass on the other side of the highway this morning? Was that you?
No, but I got one of our guys going mowing grass. So yeah. Because I think we're going to have to park across the road tonight. So Taylor and I looked at that, and we figured we'd knock down the grass. But you always got to look at those kind of things. So
you just mentioned across the road. I think there's it's not a secret. You have purchased additional property around the current complex of Huset Speedway. How far out are you looking and planning when you're thinking about the coming years here at the racetrack?
You're always in business. You're always looking way far out, Shawn. We bought that 50 acres across the road 2-3 years ago, and we didn't buy it to bale hay over there, and that's what we have there now. So it's going to be developed, probably some commercial, a little bit of residential on the north side, and then we'll obviously keep some for the racetrack as well. So,
from the time you purchased Huset Speedway to its present state, it's hardly recognizable. You guys have done so much here with the addition of the camping and just all the improvements, the new video boards this year. What drives you to continue to improve the property?
Johnny, I just feel that I want to put on Huset Speedway is near and dear to my heart. I went here as a kid, and I mean, obviously go every Sunday night. And the Rubin family did a great job of putting this all together, and Chuck Brennan, put some money into it, and now I feel that this is like a premier short track. You have Knoxville, you have Eldora, long tracks, great racing, but there really isn't a premier short track, and we do have room to grow this and put bleachers on the backstretch and that type of thing. So I really like the short track racing. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Eldora, Knoxville, but I really love. No one's really done a short track like this, so that's what really excites me.
You've got an interesting point of view on a weekend like this. You're the track owner, and you also have a car that is going to be in contention to win, just like it did last year. you're wearing very different hats. How do you work through that emotionally throughout the course of the night? You're always a level-headed guy, but how do you work through that when you're looking at such different aspects here all in the course of one night?
Well, Shawn, the race team does their thing. I mean, the start of the night, I really don't go down to the race trailer at all. You know, Cody Jacobs, David, and the crew, they do their thing. I don't ever really say anything about that. You know, the business side of the racetrack, I just go around and observe. We have good people. Let them do their thing. You know, I mean, obviously, we're competing just like, you know, a Carson Macedo or a Donnie Schatz. It's just, it is what it is. The Outlaw officials are doing their thing. So we're just in the mix with everybody, and there's no favoritism. We're trying to race just like them. So.
One thing I've learned about car owners over my career observing from the announcer's booth, they're competitive people, just like the drivers are. Do you think that describes you as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's you want to win, whether it's in business or building the best racetrack or the best race team. You want to keep striving for more, you know.
I bumped into you last night. It was well after the races. There was a few hundred people hanging out here. We had a band playing, and it was really cool. And you looked at me and you said, this is what we want to build. Talk about that quest to not just have races at your facility, but to have events.
Yeah, it's not all about, you know, the racing's awesome, but we want all you people to do what you're doing right now. We want to have a band here afterwards. It's all about the fun as well. It's not, the racing's cool. The campgrounds, you know, that's what the experience is. It's more of an experience than just a race. Then you get to come and watch a race, that's over, and then go have fun. That's really what we're trying to build at Huset's.
Competitive attributes as a car owner, does that carry over to Todd Quiring, the track owner, as well? You put up big money, bigger than any of the other short tracks do. Is that something that drives you as well? Do you want to continue to set the standard as far as the purses are concerned?
Yeah, you know, the purses, I think, are continuing to increase and that type of thing. And, I mean, there's a lot of investment from all our corporate sponsors and to make this all happen. It's just not all about me or, you know, the front gate, back gate. The fans are awesome, but we have a lot of sponsorship on this deal. Billion Automotive, they do an incredible job. You know, LG Everest, they're all really good partners in this community. And I always say Sioux Falls has a huge corporate community that really supports this racetrack, and I can't thank them enough.
Speaking of Sioux Falls, you've recently moved the base of operations. Big Game Motorsports is right up the hill here. Sioux Falls, one of the fastest growing communities in the United States. What does that mean to your vision of what's going to happen here at the racetrack, knowing that there's a huge population here and more to come?
Yeah, Johnny, I think it's just going to continue to grow. You know, Sioux Falls is growing daily, and we all know that. West side, east side, Veterans Highway out here, it's going to build into Brandon. Whether Brandon likes that or not, it's going to be part of Sioux Falls. So yeah, absolutely, and it just brings more corporate sponsorship to the racetrack, you know, the HR, the employee part of it. So yeah, I think it's awesome for the racetrack.
And it seems like you and your businesses have been more than welcomed to the South Dakota area in here in Sioux Falls as well. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. The community of Brandon really supports the racetrack, you know, us as a business, and we have a really good relationship with everyone there. So it's awesome. I think it's great for Brandon. It's great for us.
The work involved in making an event like this happen is not something that just goes on during these 3 days. This is something that is a year-round quest for you guys. Doug talked about it as well. How do you continue to grow it? What goes into trying to get more people here, and maybe even people that aren't necessarily sprint car fans, to get them out to someplace like this for the very first time?
Yeah, that's a great question, Johnny. You know, we work on that all the time. I mean, we're always working on systems. You know, how do we better this facility? How do we better the systems? Streamline the show, get new people out here. We're always like working on the kids. You know, we have a lot of, Shawn can attest for this, our weekly shows, we do a lot of things for the kids. You know, if you're a fan as a younger kid, you're going to bring your parents. We really work hard on that. So we're going to continue to do that. Our guys do a great job at doing that, and we're going to continue to move forward with that.
Tonight we'll wrap up the season here at Huset Speedway. We've already closed the books at the Jackson Motorplex for 2024. Would you rate it as a successful season, and how much of what you've done this year will you build on for 2025?
Yeah, I think it's been a successful season. I mean, we've had challenges here the last 3 years. The tornado knocked down the Sweet Tower. We rebuilt that quickly. We had the flood. I think we're getting this place, where we want it to be. Not long term, probably. We're gonna continue to do different things. You're gonna probably see some different things where we're standing out here next year, because it's all about the like I said, the experience. The racing's good, but we're going to continue to have things for the fans to do, like during the day, get people out earlier here, to come and, watch like the show we have right now, things for the kids to do. So we're going to continue to grow that.
One thing I want to touch on very quickly in the time we have left, you mentioned the recovery from the tornado and the flood and everything like that. Yes, having the resources to be able to do that financially helps, but it's very difficult to get everything in line to get that done quickly. It's not just a matter of being able to pay for it, it's a matter of getting those people in place to make those recoveries possible.
Absolutely, Johnny. It's, when we had the tornado, we had a lot of great people. I mean, Shawn knows that. I mean, there was families out here right away helping clean things out. Then we had contractors that would leave their other jobs to come and help rebuild this very quickly. And part of that's our relationships with some of the other developments we do and things like that. But yeah, huge support in the Sioux Falls community, Brandon community.
All right, you've got 10 seconds to answer it. Who do you think wins tonight and takes home $100,000?
Well, I'd like to see our car win, but we'll see. I mean, I think you can't count out Sheldon ever. Macedo. I mean, those young guys they're going to bang the fence. I can promise you guys tonight you're going to see a hell of a show. I would say those two, Kofoid, and then I'm got to throw Gravel in there because I own the car. So,
all right, there he is, everybody. Todd Quiring. That'll do it. We are just about set to go to BillionAuto.com. Huset's High Bank Nationals, presented by Menards, coming up shortly, live at Huset Speedway.
This has been a presentation of Dirt Vision, a World Racing Group property. For information about upcoming broadcasts, follow us on social media, including Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can also watch more than 2,500 classic races and shows anytime at dirtvision.com or the Dirt Vision app.